When it comes to figuring how many stitches my placket should be, I use the rib from the back panel, which is already washed and blocked. At this point, my front panel is also washed and blocked. What I did was just placing the panel on top of the rib like so, and I counted the extra stitches. After this, I've learned that my placket should be 108 stitches. I will now have to knit 2 plackets, one with buttonholes and one without. I'm going to have 6 buttons in total, very small ones, and I will divide the number of stitches evenly to make sure that the spaces between them are the same. Here I hope that you can see that I'm transferring one stitch from main bed to ribber bed to create the little buttonholes. I place the first one at the very end on the left side, that will be the bottom of the cardigan, and I counted 10 needles in between except for the right side, which will account for the neck trim. Here I only counted 8 stitches, as the last buttonhole or the top will be on the neck trim. I will make sure to place the needles I emptied back in work, and I will knit 4 more rows and then some rows in a contrast color waste yarn. I'm going to show you the method I use to know how many stitches I need to cast on for my rib for the neckline. So I already have some information from my neckline basically. I know that I cast off 13 stitches here, and I know that that is twice. So we have 13 stitches times 2 plus, I also know for the back panel that I cast off 36 stitches, so I'm going to write plus 36. So now all I need to learn is how many stitches I'm going to need for the curve on both back and front. So for the curve, for this curve here. And I'm going to learn that by hooking my front panel and back panel onto the linker. So I'm just going to place this onto my linker. I'm not stretching it too much, I'm keeping it nice and straight. Okay, once this is on the linker, I'm going to count how many stitches I have here. 33. And we have that times 2 as we need for both sides of the front. And I'm going to do the same for the back panel. So I'm just attaching the part where I shaped basically. (14) plus 14 times 2. And I'm going to calculate the total. So I have 13 times 2, that is 26. 26 plus 36 plus 66 plus 28. And that is a total of 156 stitches. So that is the total number of stitches that I need for the rib for my neckline. And when I'm going to attach it, I'm going to make sure every time I'm placing any part of the neckline onto the machine, onto the linker, I'm going to make sure to have the exact number of stitches that I had when I counted them. So I'm going to make sure that here I have exactly 36 for the part where I cast off in the back, and I'm going to make sure that this one, when I attach it onto the linker, I have exactly 14 stitches. So this should give me a perfect neckline. Moving on to assembling the cardigan, even though I do have a linker, I still prefer to do my seams by hand. I don't mind to spend the time. I find it quite therapeutic, I would say. So I do a lot of my stitching with just a darning needle. And now I'm going to use those long tails that I left to do these seams. I'm just going to try to catch right below the chain stitch cast off. I could honestly do this for hours. Just put on a podcast and just stitch away. I already finished my shoulder seam, so the next step is to add the placket. I've already done the left side where the buttons will go, and now I'm going to do the right side where I will have the buttonholes. I don't have a rule when I do this, I just want to make sure that they fit perfectly. So I know that my rib is 108 stitches, so I'm going to first place the edge of my cardigan onto the linker, and I'm literally going to count 108 stitches. And now I'm just going to catch the edge. I'm trying to go as nice and even as I can. And the next step is to add the trim. I wonder if I should put it like this or like this. I think this is neater. Okay. Oh wait, but no. I have to have the one that's closest to the edge at the bottom, so I'm going to put it like this. And now I just have to make sure I'm catching every single stitch, as this is exactly 108. This is when having a contrast color waist yarn comes in really handy. And now probably one of the most satisfying parts is removing the waist yarn. Moving on to the neckline, I have a little buttonhole on the trim as well, which I'm going to make sure to match with the side where I have the buttonholes on the placket. So I'm beginning to the side where I don't have the buttonholes. And now, like I mentioned before, we will have to match each section of the neckline with the numbers that we wrote down previously. So I know that here I cast off 13 stitches, then for the section where I have the shaping and the straight rows, this is 33 stitches. For the back I have 14, and then the 36 stitches in the center for the back, which I cast off. So I'm making sure to respect those numbers. However, when I counted these stitches, I forgot to include the little placket. So that is about 4 stitches on my linker. And I'm just going to make sure to kind of steal 1 stitch from all the sections just to accommodate for those 4 extra stitches. So for example, I could just place the part here where I have the shaping. I'm going to just try to do 32 stitches instead. And from here I'm going to take 1 more stitch. So I'm just going to try to accommodate that. I'm sure there are other ways to do this, but this is just how I've been doing and it works for me. I would be curious to know how you do the calculations here when you have a neckline. So now I'm just counting. So for example, here instead of catching 13, I'm going to catch 12. And now I'm going to attach the side where I shaped. And I know that this has to be 33 stitches, so I'm going to just count from here, 33. And again, to save one stitch for this one, I'm going to do 32 instead. Now I'm moving on to the part where I shaped for the back, and I know that here I have 14 stitches, so I'm going to try to see if I can squeeze this to 13 stitches. Now moving on to the section where I cast off on the back, I know that this has to be 36 stitches, so again I'm going to count that and so forth. This works for me very well, so it's a technique that I use all the time, and it's just so easy when you have the linker. So I hope that this gives you an idea on how you could do it as well. The last step is to add the sleeves, which I also blocked. I'm making sure to start in the middle of the sleeve, which is easy to identify because the stitch is centered. I will begin sewing from there and align the middle of the sleeve with a shoulder seam. How I make sure that the sleeve is attached nice and straight onto the body, since we are sewing stitches and rows, is that I make sure to catch every single stitch on the sleeve, and then I alternate catching one bar and then 2 bars of the stitches of the body. Check online how to do a mattress stitch to understand a bit better than I'm explaining it here, what means to catch the bars of the stitches. Once I finished attaching the sleeve, I did the underarm and side seam, again using a mattress stitch. To make sure that the cuff and the hem are perfectly aligned and nice and straight, I always begin stitching from the bottom up, and in case something doesn't match, I will fix that in the armpit so it's not visible. It has been almost a full month since I started knitting this cardigan, and it's finally finished. While I'm going to tie in some of the ends, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that went wrong in the process, or should I say a couple of mistakes that I made, so you don't have to make them as well. The first mistake that I made is a very big one, is when I was calculating my gauge. Yes, I'm not proud of that. There are 2 ways in which you can calculate your gauge. You can do it like I did it, by counting stitches and rows and learn your gauge that way, but there is another way you can do it. Let's give an example. I know that my swatch is 40 stitches by 40 rows. I'm going to wash it, block it, and then I'm going to measure it. And I will work backwards. So I measure, let's say the swatch is 22 centimeters. I'm going to divide the number of stitches and rows by the total number of centimeters that the swatch is. I will divide 40 by 22, and I will learn how many stitches I have per 1 centimeter. So this way, when you are knitting intricate stitches that is very difficult to count stitches and rows, this way you can get a very accurate gauge. And I counted from the part where I have knit stitches, and that was really not the most accurate size of that swatch because I only had the stitch in a very small section. So I really hope that made sense. The second mistake that I made was when I measured the cardigan that I used as a reference. That cardigan was a crochet cardigan and it had way more stretch in it. So when I put that cardigan on and I made my sleeves, the part here stretched quite a lot and the front and back panel came almost up to here. Therefore, I needed a shorter sleeve. When I knitted the sleeve in the same stitch as this one, the sleeve came out way too short, so I had to add quite a few rows. Hopefully you can learn from this so you don't make the same mistake, but you saw it was super easy to fix. I just reattached my sleeve on the machine and I continued with a few more rows. But overall, I'm really happy with how the cardigan turned out. I'm going to measure it now just so you can see how far off I was from the initial measurements. So if you remember, I wanted my cardigan to be 50 centimeters wide and 50 centimeters long. So the width of this one is 44 centimeters. So it's 6 centimeters narrow, which is quite a lot. And length, I think the length was fine. Oh, the length is also a little bit shorter. I have 48 centimeters instead of 50, so 2 centimeters off. And the sleeve is now 49 centimeters instead of 37, which I initially planned. I'm going to make sure to write all this information in a document so you can see it step by step. I think seeing it in writing can be much more helpful than just watching me doing it. And hopefully this will give you enough information for you to make a cardigan for yourself. As always, if you do, please make sure to share it with me. I would love to see. And I think that's all. Thanks for following along. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye. And also, I need to add the buttons.